Hi guys, welcome to Nine Links. This is your host Alex. Today we're going to do a update on the White Champaca real quick. Today is June, oh no, not June, sorry, July 13th. And as you can see, the White Champaca is very healthy, very healthy. Actually bloomed a lot, and that's not the problem. Blooming a lot is good, and leaf growing is also good. Perhaps too much leaves. As you can see, I'm going to just show you around the plant real quick. And then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to the White Champaca today. Actually basically going to give it a little prune. Most of the time I don't recommend pruning White Champaca. Reason being is that this plant will take care of itself. As you can see, if it gets too heavy on top, it will grow on the side. If it grows too long, it will kind of slope it downward. So it's kind of a plant that takes care of itself. That is, if you plant it naturally in the ground. However, in my case, as you know, it's not in the ground. It's on a container. So last time was a couple days ago. We had a big storm, actually knocked the plant over, and because of the leaves, too many leaves. Oh, by the way, there are two my little helper there. Hello, guys. Hi. Anyway. Too many leaves cause the wind to drag on the container, even though I have a special support hook on the side to keep it from falling. But it wasn't, the storm was pretty big and the wind was very strong. So it knocked it onto the ground, and I figured maybe it's time I give it a little pruning. Now, that's a show. Okay, all right, let me finish showing this. As you can see, if you look close enough, there are flowers everywhere. Okay, all right, now I'm going to put it back to the stand and I'm going to show you, going to talk more about pruning. Okay guys, here's a couple things about pruning White Champaca. First of all, I want to say this. Most of the time, White Champaca growers don't recommend you prune White Champaca. Here's a couple things. If you prune, you can prune these green branches. You can cut them off. They recover, it's fine. Don't prune these guys, like here. Don't prune these guys. When it turns white and brown already, if you prune it, White Champaca's, the branch center is kind of have a soft tissue. When you prune it and it rains, the water gets inside, it will slowly soak it in. So if you cut right here, the water will slowly soak it in, bacteria and stuff will enter there and will slowly go in there. And the worst case, it might kill your plant. And the moderate case, it will just kill the whole branch off here. So when I prune, I'm usually talking about these green ones. Now, as you can see up here, I don't know if you can see it, this branch got really big and it's turning green. It's about to turn brown. So if I want to prune, I need to do it quick before it turns brown. I think it's a little late down here now, so I'm probably do it on top. Most of the time, when you prune White Champaca, people would say don't do it. Just if you want to encourage flower growth and stuff, just take the leaves off. Taking the White Champaca leaves off is fine, because White Champaca constantly drop its leaf off in a certain cycle. For example, the leaf I have from last year, I think most of them, well, I'll show you on the ground. They fall on the ground already. Some of them still around, but they're about to fall off. Let me find an example in here. Let me see if there's another older leaf stuck in here. Right here. See? Just touch it. It falls off really easily. There's a cycle. New leaves comes out. Usually lasts whole entire summer. And since I bring my plants down to the basement, it'll stay in the basement and grow a little bigger because it's not enough sunlight. So it will grow bigger to attract more sunlight. And then by next spring, when I bring it out, it will survive on the plant for a little bit till the new leaves start growing, and then it'll turn like this. I think on the previous video I showed you, it will turn a little bit yellowish and then whitish, and then it'll drop off itself. Or you can just speed it up the process. Just take them off. Let me see if I can find you one and show you. Okay. All right. It's kind of like this. it turns yellowish and drop off. Now, don't compare this to some of the bad symptoms of you overwater your plants. When you overwater your plants, when the leaf turns brown and sometimes there's fungus infection, it's dark and spotty, those you need to look into. These, it's fine. This natural occurring white champaca, getting rid of it, it's old leaf. So it's fine. But anyway, back to the topic of pruning. Well, not really pruning, but yeah, it's pruning. So as you can see, there are, I would say, about over 200 flower buds growing on this right now. There are a lot of them, and it hurt me to say this. I had to cut some of them off because I saw you earlier, the storm just knocked the whole plants over a couple days ago. So what I'm going to do is cutting the leaf that's growing more outward and also growing taller. So we're going to do a kind of like conical, pyramid conical shape like this down. And we're going to just do all this all the way. And also, if you notice here, this propagation still on there. So I checked the inside for root formation. There are only not as many roots. So I'm going to give it 1 more month. And nothing about propagation is you can't give it too long a time because there are only a certain amount of moisture you initially put inside the mix for air layer. So if you give it too long, if the roots really form in there, the root's going to use up all the water. So if you do it too quick, it's not good. The roots only barely forming a small amount of roots. So if you cut it off and you put in a new potting mix, it won't survive. Well, for some other plants might, but for white champaca, it's very picky. You have to air layer it right. You have to get the right timing to cut it, and then you have to put in a right size of potting mix in the container, and then put it in the right area that it likes, and then it will survive. Again, back to the topic of propagation for white champaca. Most of the time, people propagate white champaca using air layer and grafting, where they have a champaca family tree or something, and then they just graft it on top. That way, the survival rate is a lot higher than air layer. But air layer is not too bad too, but it just takes more steps to get to it. Like I initially started with 2 air layers, and one of them died to rot, and this one's, I'm pretty sure it's successful on the first step. The second step, moving to the pot, may be a little bit tricky. We'll see. Okay, all right. So here's what we're gonna do. See this one coming up? So we're just gonna get rid of it. And see this one coming up? We're just gonna get rid of it. Oh man, even see that's one thing I love is white champaca. Even the cuttings smells really good. Even the leaf smells really good. Oh, another thing, you see these white flies? Yeah, there are still white flies around white champaca, but it's just minimal amount. It's fine. When the storm hits last time, it kind of washed all the way. So it still a little bit remains. It's not a big deal. If there's an infestation, then yeah, that's when I need to worry about. Now just basically on the top, cut the crown off. Encourage it to grow downward, and then we'll cut it down on the side off. Encourage it to grow inside. Split out more branch. So over time, this thing will be very full over here. And another thing about my plant is that this one, the pot is around this, the stick, it was kind of on the side, so it goes up like this. So it's not really center of the container, which is not a very good idea. So next time when I repot this, I'm probably try to get it more towards the center. I didn't do it on purpose because I told you a long time ago when I bought this plant, the reason I got a pretty good price, it was the branch was kind of crooked. It's like growing sideways in the slope. But now I got it to straighten up pretty good. So next time we'll move into a bigger pot and hopefully get it centered. Anyway, back to pruning, and now you see this, like this growing out. So anything down here growing out, sorry, flower buds, bye-bye. All right, so we go down this way, And this crown's off. This, oh, there's one crown right here. This crown's off. This crown's off already. And this crown, I'm gonna cut a little closer. It's off. And also another thing, don't worry about throwing this in your garden or stuff. It will smell good. And also when you cut your grass, if somehow these leaves get mixed into the grass, your lawnmower will smell really good. Trust me on that one. So, and also they are very good for organic fertilizer on the ground. Anyway, so you come down here. This one's growing a little bit. Just cut a little bit off just the crown. Don't need to cut too deep inside. Remember, we want to encourage the growth out over here, not like cut all the way in. So this one, just a little bit off. We're going down, and also to the bottom, it's little, you know what? One thing I want to tell you guys. Yeah. So I just cut this much off. There's so many flower buds down there. Yeah, it pains me. But here's the thing though. White Champaca is one of those flowers that are very strong when it come back, regrow. And another thing is, make sure you do the pruning early, maybe not too early, but early in the summer, or don't do it at all. I don't want to do it late in the fall when, especially in my zone 6B, it gets cold. White Champaca slow down dramatically. So you move it inside, it's different. So you don't want to prune that by then. Champaca don't have enough energy to going forward, grow, recover. Now for the people who live in the tropical zone, heck, you can prune all year round, really. There's one guy on the YouTube, he grows White Champaca in Hong Kong. He prune his tree a certain way that the tree doesn't grow tall. Instead, it grows sideways, so he can pick flowers easily. And over the years, all he does is, because it's hot tropical zone over there, all he does is keep taking the leaves off, and more flowers come out. Taking the leaf off, more flowers shows up. So anyway, just want to show you that anything with a wood shrub tree, they typically love water and recover fast. Okay, anyway, the reason I cut the bottom these off, I'm going to keep the bottom clean so it's easy to water, and also keep the bugs and stuff out. You don't want things to accumulate down here. As you can see, I already see a couple leaf hoppers down here. So don't worry about cutting too much off, as long as you should worry cutting too much off, but just cutting a little bit off shouldn't be, like a third should be fine. So yeah, it pains me to look at this. Oh, almost about to cut the propagation branch off, but we'll leave this branch long because we're going to propagate that one. So if you guys want to help me, you guys can cut the leaves up.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a hummingbird? Where?
Up there,
Okay. Oh, another thing I want to mention. Ever since I have White Champaca here and the Phalaenopsis orchid blooming, I think the hummingbird got confused because the smell emitted by the White Champaca is sweet, melon fragrance, and then the bloom on the Phalaenopsis orchid is very vibrant. So the hummingbird thought there's a flower that's emitting that, must be really good for, you know, for food. So hummingbird constantly, usually, we saw one the other day, comes over check on the flowers. Anyway, back to pruning. Okay, that's pretty much all the pruning I'm gonna do. Just basically on the top, just cut out the crown and fix the lower above the container, clear it up. Easy watering, also more visibility, and get rid of bugs. And also when you have leaves and stuff dropping into the mix, when you water it, typically the bacteria sometimes can climb up to the leaf. Not for White Champaca, but you know, for most other plants. Just when, like most of my plants, you can probably tell I either have some kind of a beneficial plant inside the potting mix to help it, or I cut it high and keep it clean. That way your surface dries up quicker, and also it can prevent fungus gnats from laying eggs inside your potting mix. That's where the little, you know, the black flies flying around. Those I'll save it for another episode. bugs. But anyway, okay, guys, see my little helper here, Elena and Evan, and what they are doing right now is that these are all the leaves and the branches I pruned off. White Champaca. Yeah, I know. It's a lot. It hurts me. Trust me. It's painful to see them go. But anyway, we're salvaging the White Champaca flower out right now, and we're gonna take as much flower as possible. And just now you probably ask me, the flower smells good. Yes. What do you typically use with the flowers? Well, I put it in my car, put in a couple of, in my bathroom, and my bedroom. And the thing about White Champaca's flower is when it turns dry, it's actually changed from white color to red. Here, let me show you. There's one actually down here. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can focus on it real quick. See that right there? That red? Yeah, that's White Champaca when it dries up. Anyway, here's what we're gonna do right now. Kid's gonna salvage all the flowers and put it in the container, and we're gonna put it in a room in the car, and then we're gonna cut up the leaves and put it back into the pot, container as a mulch, kind of like mulch. Okay. Anyway, that's it for today. And if you have a question, please leave it down below. I'm more than happy to answer it for you. And again, this is Alex. Hope you're enjoying, and we'll see you next week.